Alright guys, it's Jerningham here. They've got something here in their hands. They're talking about the poisoning thing with Russia's spies back in 2018. They're wearing hazard mats and carrying something from here, as you saw there. I don't know if they're bringing up old news what was from before in the news. It's today's news, but they're talking about the Russian spy thing. Unless they bring it back to light again. The centre has found the cheapest Wembley available store. The stone reduced, whatever it means. Health Secretary says Matt Hancock's said Bolton, Trafford will remain under existing coronavirus restrictions. Significant change in levels, infections. Following days, fresh government U-turn.
Let's bring in our Foreign Affairs editor, Deborah Haynes, now. Hello to you, Deborah. Germany saying tests prove without any doubt that Alexei Navalny was poisoned with an agent from the Novichok group. Russia.
Germany got spokesman hospital tested without double never against.
Yes, it's a
Novikov or something that means.
Development. Remember that when the UK identified the poison Novichok as being
Novichok, I got it wrong
nerve
there.
agent used against Sergei and Yulia Skripal, they clearly said that this was a nerve agent, a Novichok nerve agent planted by the GRU, and that is Russia's military intelligence agency. So the potential suggestion could be here that is this another attack by the GRU against another person regarded by the Kremlin as well, clearly an opponent to President Putin. So a significant development, and it's also important to note that this Novichok nerve agent, it's a family of nerve agents, highly toxic. Yes, it failed to kill Sergei and Yulia Skripal, but they, if you remember, were incredibly ill for especially the older of the two Skripals, Sergei Skripal. He was in hospital for a long period of time, and we've never actually heard from him publicly since that attack. And it was a family of nerve agents developed during the Soviet Union times, designed to be highly toxic, the most at the extreme end of toxicity when it comes to chemical weapons that are outlawed internationally. And so the identification of Novichok really does narrow it down as to who it could be that had planted that poison, allegedly, and attempted to kill Alexei Navalny in this way. So a really significant development, and one that clearly the UK will be very interested in. And you can well imagine Germany seeking help from the UK in terms of how to treat the illness in the first place, because I remember when reporting on the Skripal case a couple of years ago, doctors at that time, they'd never seen a nerve agent like this, and so they were literally having to try to learn as they go and test on these live subjects the treatment for the nerve agent to try to save the lives, and they did so successfully in the case of the Skripal. So there will clearly be methods that the UK have, and expertise that the UK have, particularly at Porton Down, the Defence Science and Technology Laboratory, which is near Salisbury. They are the world-leading experts in dealing with, particularly in the wake of Salisbury, the Novichok chemical weapon. So you can well imagine advice from the UK being sought here in terms of treatment for Mr. Navalny.
Stay with us. We are now going to bring in Vladimir Ashakov, a friend of Alexei Navalny. Vladimir Ashakov, thank you very much for being with us. What is your response to the news from Germany that they say without any doubt Alexei Navalny was poisoned with an agent from the Novichok group?
I'm quite shocked. The use of military-grade poison in the assassination clearly points in the direction of Russian security services. And I think by using the same toxin that was used in the UK on Skripal, they want to send a message that we can do it, we can assassinate and kill people, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
And why Alexei Navalny?
Over years, Alexei has emerged as the most prominent opposition politician in Russia, the most formidable enemy of Mr. Putin and his regime. He has assembled a political organization that is quite capable and is the largest of its kind in Russia.
Can you give us any information about the condition of your friend Alexei Navalny at this stage?
I cannot tell you anything that's not public. Our team agreed that on the medical affairs related to Alexei, we'll only speak through one channel, his press secretary.
But he is still seriously ill in a German hospital.
I understand that his life is not in danger. He is still in induced coma. It probably will be some time until the doctors try to get him out of coma.
Russia says they hadn't been informed by Germany that they believed Alexei Navalny had been poisoned with Novichok. Russia has always denied any involvement. Is that to be expected?
Of course, that's what happened in Skripal case. That's what happened in Litvinenko case. And the use of such powerful military-grade poison in case of Navalny, Skripal, Litvinenko, that poses great danger not just to the target, but to people around him, shows just how brazen and irresponsible these people are.
What kind of response should be taken? Germany now consulting with the EU and NATO in terms of how they respond to this. What kind of response has any impact? Russia already under Western sanctions after the annexation of Crimea from Ukraine. How much more can it take economically?
I will leave it to the intelligence professionals, to the politicians, to determine what response is adequate. I remember that Theresa May, the prime minister at the time of Skripal poisoning, made a very strong speech after that, but nothing happened. The corrupt money from Russia continued to flow here. Nothing changed in how UK was treating, Russian security services, Russian states in general. I hope things will change after this incident, but this remains to be seen.
And change it in what way?
Well, I think the UK and the Western world in general has to realize that Russia has become a market state, that it has resorted to acts of political terrorism like assassination of Navalny. It is a string of assassination of Russian political activists, of people not only in Russia but outside of Russia, and adequate measures have to be taken.
Vladimir Ashakov, friend of Alexei Navalny, thank you very much indeed. Let's return to our Foreign Affairs editor, Deborah Haynes. And in terms of the diplomacy now, the response from the EU, from Western governments, from the United States, what next?
Well, it's obviously a different circumstance to the Skripal situation, when it was an attack against a man who had been living in the UK. He was given sanctuary in the UK following a Cold War style spy swap back in 2010. Sergei Skripal was a double agent. He used to be a GRU officer. He then turned and started to work for MI6. He was then arrested and convicted in Russia as being a spy. And then this spy swap happened, and in 2010 he was given this new life in the UK where he should have been safe. So when he was targeted with a Novichok nerve agent, it wasn't just the act of using the nerve agent, it was the act of using a nerve agent against someone who was living in the UK on British soil. And so in the wake of that, there was this unprecedented diplomatic pushback against Russia, where you had, led by the UK, based on evidence provided by the UK, which said from the beginning it believed that Russia was to blame for the attack, something that Russia has always denied. And on the back of that, you had about 120 diplomats, Russian diplomats from a number of countries around the world, largely EU and the US, expelled, sent back to Russia, and there were also sanctions. In this case, it's Russia. We don't know what happened, but allegedly, if it is proven that this was a deliberate poisoning with a Novichok nerve agent, and that it's believed that Russia was to blame, then it will again be a violation of international rules. The use of chemical weapons is outlawed. So you would expect the international community to respond. But we don't yet know. All we know from Germany as things stand is that they have proved that that Alexei Navalny was poisoned by a Novichok nerve agent. They've not said who actually did the poisoning, and that's obviously going to be an element of this. But you could well imagine that they're going to. The international community will not be able to allow the use of chemical weapons to go unpunished. So you would expect there to be some significant international response to this.
Okay, Deborah Haynes for now. Thank you, Deborah, there on that breaking news that the German government says tests have proved beyond doubt that Alexei Navalny, the prominent Putin critic, was poisoned with a Novichok group agent, and that German military testing at the laboratory at the Charité hospital's request has shown without proof doubt of a chemical nerve agent from the Novichok group. It is a dismaying event that Alexei Navalny was the victim of an attack with a chemical nerve agent in Russia. The German government condemns this attack in the strongest terms. Russia denying any involvement in the poisoning of Alexei Navalny and saying their tests conducted when he was admitted to hospital in Russia showed no evidence of poisoning. More coming up here on Sky News in just a few moments.
Wow, that's another short video, guys. Hope you all enjoyed it. There'll be more on the news if you want to watch it yourself. Guys and girls, okay, gotta go now. Thank you for joining me. Peace.